All right. Hello and welcome to today's episode where we're going to talk about more OCD and anxiety tricks. And today we're going to talk about not being able to handle the feeling of uncertainty or not being able to sit with uncertainty. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Codde, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the creator of the AAA Response. And I'm also the founder of Restored Minds. And really, when it comes to OCD and anxiety in this series, what we're going to be doing is talking about certain tricks that the mind plays or the OCD plays when it comes to keeping us stuck in the loop. And by becoming aware of these tricks, we can begin to see where we get stuck and why we get stuck, and more importantly, how to overcome the beliefs around this so that we can ultimately get unstuck, right? So real quick, before we dive in, please help us out by liking and subscribing, leaving a comment on YouTube, or leaving us a nice review on iTunes and Spotify, as it really just helps the show, and I would really appreciate that. Also, if you're looking for help and resources, we have some links right down in the notes that will get you started, as well as you can head over to restoredminds.com. So let's talk about this idea of not being able to sit with uncertainty or not being able to feel uncertainty. So this is where really most OCD, anxiety, and fear tends to kind of like latch its claws, if you will, and really grip us, right? We have this feeling that I need to be certain about X, and then I will be able to feel okay. And without that uncertainty of X, whatever that is, right, I'm not okay. That's the real belief structure here that we're talking about. And the belief structure is really just a thought that we keep thinking and then we just assume to be true. Like, I need to know the answer to this in order to be okay. That's the belief. And therefore, because we don't know this answer, that we don't feel okay. So I need to know that I will never get this disease, right? And then I'll be okay. I need to know I'll never become homeless, or, I mean, really, you can just insert any theme that OCD latches onto. And it's all this idea of, I can't feel uncertain. I can't feel uncertain about this topic. I need to have certainty. And so let's go ahead and kind of break this down and talk through it. So number one, certainty is a illusion. It doesn't exist, right? So this idea that you need certainty to be okay is a complete lie, myth, illusion, belief that's completely false. And I say that because no one else has that. And other people are okay not having that. So the idea that you believe the only way you're going to be okay is with certainty about this one topic, and that's what's causing a lot of the dysregulation. What you have to start to look at is like, okay, well, other people don't have the answer and they're okay. Therefore, it must be possible for me to not have this answer and be okay. Because if you just go in with the assumption and the belief that the only way you're okay is if you have certainty about this thing, whatever that thing is, right? Just insert your theme, right? And that's the only way I'll be okay. You're going to chase certainty and chase answers and chase reassurance endlessly and never get there, because it's an impossible thing to obtain. You can never be certain about anything in life. So this pursuit of certainty in and of itself is a complete illusion, and it doesn't exist. Right. And thereby, like, we should stop trying to be certain about things, because it's a fool's game trying to pursue that, because you'll never get it. Even when you get hints of certainty, the doubt is just going to creep back in and throw another what if in, and another what if in, and another what if in, right? Or another what if thought. So that's the first thing. Certainty is an illusion. It doesn't exist about anything. And pursuing it is just going to lead to suffering. And if we really believe this idea that we need certainty to be okay, we're never going to be okay, because we're never going to have certainty. So we need to start looking at it from a higher lens, so to speak. Second idea is really that certainty is, while it's an illusion, it also is a thing that, when you begin to step back and look at life, this idea of certainty is not a feeling, right? So a lot of people say, I need to feel certain. And the thing is that it's not a feeling, right? Really there's just this feeling of like fear and trust, and we equate certainty with that. So part of the problem with this idea of feeling uncertain, I don't want to feel uncertain, or I have to feel certainty, is that's not an actual feeling, right? And that gets confusing for people, because they're like, well, I feel uncertain, and uncertain's bad. And I'll kind of go through it. It's like, what is uncertainty? Like, that's actually not a feeling. What you're generally communicating is, because I don't have this piece of information that I perceive to be the thing that's going to make me feel okay, that uncertainty about the information is not a feeling. Uncertainty is just knowledge. It's just an idea, right? When you're uncertain about something, you're uncertain about how something's going to play out in the future. The feeling that produces is generally fear, right? So even calling the feeling uncertainty, I think, creates confusion, because it's not a feeling. And thereby, when you're trying to get rid of the feeling of uncertainty, and it's already not a feeling in and of itself, that's going to create a lot of confusion and pursuit, right? In your pursuit, I should say. So when what we're really talking about is, we think that this feeling is going to make us feel safe, and we feel fear, or we feel, unsafe, if you will, which is generally fear, at its core. Because when you really strip emotions down, they're very, very, we have just a small category of emotions, right, that we can experience. And when we feel fear, and really calling it that and acknowledging it as that, then we understand that that's what we're actually trying to face. So I think one of the tricks that OCD and anxiety plays is it labels fear as uncertainty, and thereby we get lost in a pursuit of something we'll never find, right? And that's kind of one of the tricks that it plays to keep people stuck, in my opinion. And really, when you strip it all down, all uncertainty is a first belief that you need a piece of information to be okay. And since it doesn't exist, and we don't know anything for certain about the future, the idea is we'll never be okay. And that's the trap in and of itself. And then the idea of feeling certain or feeling uncertain, that's actually not a feeling. It's just fear, right? And so because we don't call it what it is, it becomes confusing on how to feel uncertain. What we're really talking about is just being able to feel fear, to feel anxiety, to feel the energy of fear in our body, and to really sit in the face of that and allow our body to experience it and then regulate on its own. And that is what essentially allows for the dissolving of the perceived danger. And and so the two tricks, I think, are, number one, creating this illusion that certainty exists. And once you realize that whatever you're uncertain about, every other person is uncertain about. Because there's no way, the brilliant thing that OCD always does is it locks itself in unanswerable questions. Even people that tell you they're certain about topics, they're lying, right? Like, cause they're topics that you can never really be certain about, right? Like, can you be certain that you'll never accidentally run someone over with your car, or never get this disease, or never, like the idea of absolutes is where certainty comes from, and they don't exist, So the first is the belief structure that you need this piece of knowledge to be okay. That belief causes you on this, essentially chasing the rabbit, down the rabbit hole, or whatever metaphor you like there. And then the second thing is labeling uncertainty as a feeling. And when we're trying to feel uncertainty, that's not a feeling, right? It's just a missing piece of information, right? That doesn't exist. So the feeling itself is actually fear. And when you're able to move to the idea of actually feeling and facing fear, that is what allows the nervous system to regulate through habituation. That's what exposure response prevention is. And then once the nervous system shifts from, really the fight or flight into the rest and digest state, you're able to perceive the situation totally differently. And that's why the pursuit of certainty is not what we're looking for. It's actually what we're looking for is to get the nervous system from that yellow, or in the stoplight model, right? Green, yellow, red, from yellow back into green. And when we're in green, we can look at the same situation that we're uncertain about and actually be unfazed or unafraid by it, because our nervous system doesn't appraise not having that information as dangerous. So this was, I hope this was helpful. And again, we're just going to be kind of going through the little tricks, that the OCD and anxiety plays, to keep people stuck. So, if you found this helpful, again, please help us out by liking and subscribing. And then if you are looking for more help on your journey, please, you can either check out the book, is a great place to get started, From Stuck to Unstuck. We'll be getting it up actually on Amazon here shortly, I believe. And then you also can access it for less, just right on our site at restoredminds.com, where we actually include the audio book for free as well. So, check that out. And then also you can, apply for TBC to work with me and my team directly, in a very strategic path to really break this loop. And, you also have other resources you could check out over at Restored Minds. So thank you so much for hanging out today. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to see you on the next episode as we continue this series. Hey there. So if you enjoyed that video, we've linked up a few more videos that we think you'd find helpful as well. And if you have found this helpful, we'd really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing. And if you're looking for help and guidance, please check out restoredminds.com, as we have several options for you to get started. See you guys soon.